what's the university's response to
The student centers, the health centers, are all equipped with the help and the assistance, and that would be the first, or if it's during midnight or anything else, they should go immediately to the emergency room just to get the help that they need, because if there's a safety issue or, they've been hurt badly, they can get the assistance that they need. But the student health centers and our Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital in New Brunswick are all equipped to care for individuals.
And then what's the process on campus? Is it we've heard stories where the woman is, the guy denies it, and it's a he said, she said. How does the campus proceed once the woman has said she's been raped by another student?
I can't comment on that.
I have someone that I interviewed not even a month ago, and she has graduated a college, a huge university. And one of the concerns, the problems that she saw when I interviewed her was that that someone in their group, their theater group, was known as a perpetrator, and he was allowed to be in the group, and the cast was quite upset. And when they went to faculty, what they learned was that they stood by what's called Title IX, which is kind of protecting the perpetrator. In other words, if they were accused and they were known to be allegedly a perpetrator, that it was supposed to be, you weren't supposed to discriminate or stop them from being involved in anything else. So that's an interesting question, because that's something that I've been researching quite heavily.
So, for us as healthcare providers, we are not trained or equipped to handle the other aspects. We are trained to evaluate and render medical care. So when someone presents to the emergency room with this, with a complaint, we evaluate for immediate health needs, such as sexually transmitted disease prevention, etc. And then a social service individual. They do have trained individuals in the emergency room who collects the evidence and informs the authorities or those who need to continue the investigation. We're removed from that process, but we're part of the team because we need to render health services. It could be lacerations or preventative methods against sexually transmitted infection. I don't know if that helps, but it's typically a team approach in the emergency room.
Thank you. Any questions?
This is not so much a question as an answer. If something happens on campus, they are covered by Title IX. The thing to know is that Title IX is protects students from sex discrimination and sexual harassment. And those processes and procedures were strengthened enormously under the Obama administration. The president that followed, number 45, completely, under Betsy DeVos, was in charge, completely reversed these and eviscerated those protections. Now, the head of the Department of Education Office of Civil Rights is the person who designed those procedures under Obama. And they are initiated a process to put in place not only the Obama strengthening, protecting victims of rape and harassment on campus, but to make them even better. So I think by the end of the year, those new regulations will be in effect. It's a sort of a long process of changing the regulations and strengthening them, but it is an important accomplishment under this administration.
So on many college campuses, well, almost all of them, there are very strict veils of secrecy among sports teams, fraternities, sororities, clubs. How can we use education to basically break down that barrier? Because people have been killed because of secrets.
I feel like what Doctor said earlier, speak out. Honestly, just speak your truth, and just really eliminating that fear factor. This has been going on for decades, where women and men aren't speaking out because it's, the jock in the football team or whatever. And now we have a whole nother community of like LGBTQ community that are massively being abused and hiding under a table. Where are they gonna go? Look, just recently, we just saw, just this week, in New York City, in New York City, you guys, where you would think that, the medical system is mentally equipped for this, where someone was raped and it was a transgen, and he wanted an abortion. And this is huge. This is only the tip of the iceberg. We have so much work to do. There's so many legs. And so to answer your question about education, the universities have got to implement programs so that every single community, every race, every color, every culture, every creed, every gender is involved, and we can educate and speak to their language, and we can have literature that speaks to their language, videos that speak to their language in their community, so that no one is left out.
I have a question.